What impact are these chemicals and pesticides having on our environment?
You know, they're widespread through the environment. The United States Geological Service finds pesticides everywhere they test. It's in the drinking water. If you've seen the studies of the cocktail of pesticides in the normal drinking water here in the US, and if it's in our drinking water, it means all the animals are exposed to it. The rainwater, it's in the soil, they're in the plants, and it's affecting the whole of life. And particularly when we talk about these hormone-disrupting chemicals, the most living creatures reproduce through sexual production. That includes plants and animals. And we all use the same hormones. So for females, whether they're a plant or a rat or a human, estrogen and progesterone. For males, if they're a plant or an animal or human, testosterone. Sexual reproduction works on the same system everywhere, and these chemicals are disrupting it all through nature. You think about everything that sexually reproduces, which is most of the species on this planet, except for the single-celled species, most of the multi-celled species are being disrupted because these chemicals are everywhere. We can find them in penguins in Antarctica, in the breast milk of Inuit women in the Arctic. We have polluted the whole of this planet with them.
What influence does the chemical and pesticide industry have over our politicians?
I'll give you an example. We'll talk about these endocrine disrupting chemicals. Now, a wonderful book came out. It was actually a bestseller in the 1990s, Our Stolen Future. Talked about it. Regulators like the US EPA and in Europe, the European Food Safety Authority, they were tasked by their governments to ban these chemicals. It's the year 2020 now. How many have been banned? None. 30 years of doing nothing. And the other example I gave is a chemical like chlorpyrifos, which we know causes brain damage in children. And the chemical companies stopped that from being banned. In this case, the EPA was in the process of banning it, but the chemical company went to the US government, and the government went and overrode the EPA, and so this chemical now is allowed to continue causing brain damage in children in the United States.
In Chapter 1 of Poisoning Our Children, what did you mean by the rigorously tested myth?
We are told that all the chemicals that we're exposed to are safe. We don't have to worry about it because they have been rigorously tested. And I quote from the US EPA saying how, yes, there are residues in food, but they've been tested, they're completely safe, and they will continue their rigorously testing these chemicals to ensure that they are safe. Then I explain how this is a myth and that there is no rigorous testing. As I explained before, they don't test the actual product the farmer uses, they test just one ingredient. There is no testing for what we have as an epidemic of non-contagious chronic diseases that is affecting us. Not one formulation. The actual products that are used on our food has been tested for one of these major diseases that is affecting pretty well everyone in the world now. Everywhere we're finding these diseases.